Today, we are bringing you a story that cuts straight to the heart of democracy, accountability, and the human cost of immigration enforcement in America. What unfolded during the Kristi Noem hearing was not just political theater, it was a warning, and it deserves your full attention. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you do not miss in-depth reporting like this that you will not see explained this clearly anywhere else.
Thank you, Representative Ansari. I'd now like to recognize Representative Delaney from Maryland for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Ranking Member Jayapal and Representative Omar for arranging this hearing. And I think it's really important because we do have the express authority to conduct oversight, and we must continue to do so at this incredible time. I have to say I'm just speechless after the last night and then today hearing all of this, and I just thank to each of you for sharing your perspectives and your experiences against this lawless, cruel, unconstitutional actions, including the murder of Renee Good, a mother. But I have to say that it is a concerted effort, really, to stew chaos and distrust and terror. And it is something that is not only undermining our public safety, but as many said, our very democracy itself. But what did give me unbelievable admiration is the absolute courage and resilience of Minnesota to stepping up to Operation Metro Surge. And just know that transparency and rule of law will triumph over this dark time. I represent Maryland's 6th District, home to Gaithersburg and Germantown, who are some of Maryland's most diverse communities. And my constituents are immigrants. They come from around the world. And in Maryland, we've seen discriminatory enforcement, illegal deportations, including Kilmar, Obrego, Garcia, and record inhumane detentions. Our systems, also detentions, are not designed to really house such mass incarceration, and ICE is running out of space. Their lethal use of force under the pretext of the Supremacy Clause, which is without legality or merit, is misleading, and I have been pushing back forcefully about it. To meet increased demand, the administration is planning to house up to 80,000 immigrants in warehouses completely unsuitable for habitation. And I was just outside with a group of AAPI community nonprofits who are saying that many people are being picked up, many of them are legal or have legal status, and are being shipped within 24 hours to warehouses in Texas without transparency or with any access to good treatment or legal rights. There is a processing center that's being proposed in Hagerstown, Maryland, in my district, and I know there's one in Woodbury, Minnesota, less than a half an hour from here. I just want to know that there will be accountability for the President and for Secretary Noem. But in the interim, Mr. Mael, ICE visited a site this week in my district for their proposed warehouse detention center. Is there anything that communities can do to leverage their local legal authorities to push back against ICE expansion? And other than the litigation, what can we do as communities to enact new policies to slow down these detention centers and to give some transparency?
Thank you, Representative. Thank you for that question and for bringing it to the same perspective. Absolutely. Again, there's many things that community members can do to hold ICE and this government accountable. Here in Minnesota, we are actively litigating issues around 287G agreements, including where local law enforcement will sign a contract with DHS and do some of the work for them. And we are litigating when those things are done in a way that isn't prescribed by local law or state law. And there are community activists, advocates who are getting engaged at the county level with sheriffs and being engaged to make sure, whether it's a processing site, whether it's a detention center, whether it's your local sheriff cooperating with ICE, making sure your voice is heard and it is effective to hold people accountable and to bring these issues to light. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you for lifting that up, and I yield back. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Representative Delaney. I'd now like to recognize Representative Dave Min from California.
Representative Delaney of Maryland did not walk into this hearing with talking points. He walked in with disbelief. Shocked by the testimony from the night before and the day of the hearing, he described an administration he says is deliberately fueling chaos, distrust, and fear. His words were heavy, not rhetorical, as he pointed to what he called lawless, cruel, and unconstitutional actions by federal authorities. At the center of that accusation is the killing of Renee Good, a mother, whose death has become a symbol of what critics say is unchecked federal power. What makes this moment different is that lawmakers are no longer framing this as policy disagreement. They are framing it as a threat to public safety and to democracy itself. Delaney argued that fear is not a side effect of current enforcement tactics, it is the strategy, and that fear, he warned, destabilizes entire communities. If this type of reporting matters to you, subscribe now, because we will continue to follow where this leads. Delaney then grounded the issue in his own district. Maryland's 6th District, home to Gaithersburg and Germantown, is one of the most diverse areas in the state. These are immigrant communities, families who are woven into the local economy, schools, and neighborhoods. According to Delaney, these communities are now facing discriminatory enforcement, illegal deportations, and inhumane detention practices. He cited specific cases, including Kilmar Rego Garcia, as examples of people removed from the country despite legal protections. Here is where the hearing revealed something many Americans may not realize. The immigration detention system was never designed for mass incarceration. ICE facilities are overcrowded, under-resourced, and now, according to testimony, running out of space. To solve that problem, the administration is planning to warehouse up to 80,000 immigrants in facilities that were never meant for human habitation. These are not hospitals or shelters, they are warehouses. Community organizers, especially AAPI nonprofits, described people being picked up, including those with legal status, processed in less than 24 hours, and transported across state lines to Texas. Many are cut off from legal counsel, family contact, and basic transparency. That is not accidental, critics say. It is operational design. Subscribe now because this is a developing national issue, not a local one. Delaney revealed that ICE recently visited a site in his own district for a proposed warehouse detention center. Similar facilities are being considered in Minnesota, including one less than half an hour from the hearing location. These are not theoretical plans, they are already moving forward, often without meaningful community input. That is when Delaney asked the most important question of the day. If litigation takes time, what can communities do right now to push back? Can local governments slow or stop ICE expansion using their own legal authority? Can they demand transparency before these facilities are built and filled? The response from Minnesota officials was revealing. They confirmed that states and communities are already fighting back. One major front is the use of 287G agreements. These agreements allow local law enforcement to effectively act as federal immigration agents. Minnesota is actively litigating cases where these agreements were signed without proper legal authority or in violation of state and local law. But the resistance does not stop in the courtroom. Community organizers are showing up at county meetings. Advocates are pressuring sheriffs. Local governments are being forced to answer questions about whether they will cooperate with ICE detention and processing centers. This is where local power matters, and this is where communities still have leverage. What this hearing made clear is that accountability is not something that happens automatically. It happens when people demand it, organize for it, and refuse to look away. The administration may claim supremacy, but states and communities are reminding the country that the rule of law still exists. If you want continued coverage that explains what is really happening behind closed doors and how it affects real people, subscribe to this channel now. We are not just watching history unfold. We are breaking it down so you can understand it and act on it. This story is far from over.